So this is how you go from being an outsider to an insider. There's some people that are just naturally good at this, but for most of us, it's actually a process. And last week I was talking about, or in the last video, it was about fun, these 4 steps to a great first impression, which I wish someone would have broken this down to me earlier in my life. But I did end up going through a process and learning this, and I have found it to be so helpful. And it's really just these 4 steps. It's when you first enter into an interaction, you're talking with someone for the first time, you're leading with fun, and then you're building trust, and then you're building respect, and then you're switching or turning the spotlight back onto the other person. That's kind of the 4 step process that I go through in basically every interaction. And I actually don't consciously think of it as it's happening, but it's something that I have practiced and thought about each step of this. So that way I almost have these like pre-built templates that I'm just copying and pasting, and it just means that I don't have to think about it because it's just pre-built. So how do we build trust? One of the number one ways that we build trust is through physical interaction. That means when you meet someone for the first time, it's shaking their hand with a firm handshake. Like, I don't know if you've ever met someone who was like a limp noodle, felt like a dead fish or something like that. That doesn't build trust. So it's having a firm handshake, but not crushing. Um, and that's if you've never been like, do I crush someone's hand or not? Like, ask someone who you trust to be honest with you. And it's okay to practice this. Because some of us, myself included, didn't grow up just naturally good at these things. It was actually a skill that was acquired over time. You become more and more aware, at least that was my process. And so, trust, one of the biggest things that builds that is when you walk into a space, if there's less than 6 people, take the time to go around and either give a handshake or a side hug, or I mean, if you're in the gym, it can be something quicker like a fist bump, but there's something about either doing a handshake or a hug, or even a dap if it's a guy that you know already. Those really, it's a small thing, but it matters. And the other thing is, if you're entering a group, if someone doesn't greet you, you feel like you're on the outside. Like, especially if there's a group of 3 or 4 people and you go around and you shake each person's hand, that makes a big difference. And it's a small thing, but it sets you apart. And so the other thing with trust is this idea of being honest in spite of what might benefit you. So if you're someone who there's um, there's something that you could say that would make you look good, but you realize that the honest thing is to do something different, that makes a big difference. There's actually a line that I use really frequently in business, which is simply this: if you were my own brother or if you were my own sister, here's what I recommend you do. And the nice thing about that is I have brothers and sisters, and especially when it comes to car detailing or that business in particular, I have made recommendations to various siblings of what they should do. So it makes it actually very easy for me to honestly say, if you were my brother or my sister, depending on if it's a guy or a girl, here's what I would recommend you do. And a part of it is because I've already actually done that with my own siblings. So it's really easy to do when it's just the truth. And so that's the other thing, is to be honest in spite of your feelings. And then the other thing, and this has been something that I have grown in a lot, really just in the last month or two. I went to Brazil, and after coming back, I realized that when I can lower my filter by 1 degree, that seems to create so much better, like my relationships and my friendships and even the dates that I've gone, they just go so much better when I take like slightly filtered Daniel, and then I just drop the filter by 1 degree, And I just find that the conversations are easier. The connection is warmer. There is more trust, and I have found that to be incredibly freeing. And I knew that before I went to Brazil. And I actually got this that necklace while I was there, and I've got a ring that I wear frequently. And it's just this reminder that for me, lowering the filter 1 degree and being fully present, that is such a gift, and that does breed trust in the relationship. And so those are that's the concept and some of the ways that it's affecting me right now, which is just that idea of lowering the filter. And then the other thing is to build trust through using touch. Now, the other thing from just a tactical standpoint is you generally want to touch either on the shoulders, the arms, or beneath the knee. Obviously, you don't want to touch anywhere else. The one other thing is that you want to avoid what's called hover hands, which is like if you touch someone and then release right away. Generally, the way it feels the most natural and genuine is to put your hand on them for 1 Mississippi and then take it off. For most people, that feels the best. If you start to pay attention and notice the people who you trust most or who you just naturally enjoy being around, they're probably pretty good in how they use physical touch in social interactions. And so that's something to just notice. Do they do that well or not? And that's something that you want to incorporate, which is when you walk into a space, especially a newer one, you want to make sure you greet each person, make eye contact, shake their hand, give them a hug, dap them up if it's a guy that you've met before. If it's just in passing, you can do the fist bump, but the fist bumps are the lowest, least connecting of anything. And I guess one other thing too that I learned because of a friend of mine is, especially if you're a guy, instead of just assuming if you meet a girl that you can hug her, just ask and go, "Hey, I just met you for the first time. Is it all right if I give you a hug to say goodbye?" And let her dictate that. I found that creates a lot of trust and respect, and the women in my life really appreciate that. So if you're a guy, do that. Don't just assume that you can hug someone just because you met her for the first time. That's not doesn't doesn't go well. So that's one other thing. And if she says no, just give her a high five and move on. And I guess that's one other thing is anytime that someone shares a win or a congratulations or anything like that, give as many high fives as you can. There's like something psychological about high fives that just make us feel really good. So if you can do that, you will feel better. The other thing is, even if you don't have a person to high five, you can literally just high five all by yourself, and it still does the same like dopamine effect like you high five someone else, because we only associate good things with high fives. So let other people feel like they're winning. Give them high fives, hugs, handshakes, hellos, and lower that filter. And that is how you build more trust in a first social interaction. So, yeah, the last video is fun. Today's trust. And then in the next one, we'll be talking about respect. So that's what I have for you today. Adios.